Hi, my name is Joe Rankin. The company is Simplified Mine Instruments. We put together a little video to show you some of our products. Simplified Mine Instruments. The name Simplified Mine Instruments suggests that we've come up with a way of simplifying tools used to measure strain. And really that's what we have developed over the years. So in the last 40 years of making instruments, we've come up with some real simple, reliable instruments. And I'd like to show you some of those now. So let's take a closer look. This model represents a cutaway view of the roof rock, and we have two different monitors installed. The miner's helpers on the left and our sag flag on the right. As we actuate the model, which represents roof separation, each monitor gives visual indication. Measurements to the thousandths of an inch can be taken with the unit on the left, while the one on the right has a scale to give rough visual measurements. The first instrument I want to show you is our miner's helper, it's called. The miner's helper has a collar device which is anchored at the collar of the hole, and the aluminum rods go up in the hole. This is anchored in place by using an Allen wrench to tighten it. Once it's in place and movement has occurred, based on how much you've preset it to be sensitive to, it drops this drop rod. Data is collected by using this digital depth gauge. Another unit that I wanted to point out was this is actually called our sag flag. A single rod goes up the hole, which when the roof moves, the flag actually moves over a range, and we can set this to be anywhere from a 1/4 inch to 1 inch range. We have another small little unit that we developed for a salt mine. It's called a salt shaker, and it's basically just a quick telltale that when the roof moves, what happens is a little E-clip pops off, and this plunger shows that there's been movement. This one might be hard to show, but it's just basically a simple closure rod. This one has a 2-inch range dial gauge. It can be rigged up with different dial gauges, 1-inch range, or digital gauges. This instrument, real simple. This rod goes up the hole. This gets anchored to the roof, and as movement occurs, the collar comes down and different colors are revealed. We developed that for a potash mine in Canada. Okay, before we go to the graph, I want to just make a little note here of data collection. This is an illustration of what's typical in your field book for collecting data. One column would have your date, the next column you'd record your reading. Difference in reading would be next. Total change, and I like to use a inches per day rate in this column. And then special notes on this end here, we might note how far from the face or things similar to that. This graph right here illustrates like 3 different types of curves. This bottom one might represent real stable ground, maybe some ground that you know has been stable for many years and you've got record of that. Then this graph in the middle sort of represents an average curve, and this red one shows a little more activity. At one point the rate changed to the point where maybe somebody put bolts in, and then it just shows that it stabilized after bolting. It's just an example of graphing your data and the kind of things that you can determine. This is date down here, and this is amount of movement. You can also go amount of movement and distance from the face, or amount of movement and how you're advancing on a different level, and how that affects the instruments below that level. So just some examples. Now that you've taken the time to view this presentation and have seen our regular product line, I urge you to take a proactive approach to rock mechanics. If you already have a rock mechanics program at your mine, then consider applying our rock mechanic approved devices. We know what works, and we've provided instruments to over 60 mines over the years. Give us a call and explain your need. We can most likely provide a solution using our instruments. Our roof monitors are unique because they provide visual indication of movement as well as data collection. Remember, with us you get more than just a tool, you get years of mining experience. Thank you.